You know that feeling when you walk into a hotel and it just has a certain vibe? Maybe it feels grand and exciting, or maybe it's super calm and cozy, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Well, it turns out the most powerful design tricks might just be hiding in plain sight, right above your head. I mean, think about it. Be honest. You notice the fancy bed, the art on the walls, maybe the view. But the ceiling? It's probably the last thing you look at. And yet, that's where so much of the magic, or, the misery of your stay is secretly being decided. Okay, let's just look at this. The corridor on the left. Yikes. It feels sterile, like a hospital. It's just a hallway. But the one on the right? That tells a totally different story. It's warm, it's inviting, it feels like an experience is about to begin. And the biggest difference isn't the carpet or the paint, it's the ceiling and the lighting. They are the silent storytellers here. And that brings us to this really cool concept that designers are totally obsessed with, but most of us have never even heard of: the fifth wall. This right here completely reframes what a ceiling is. It's not just the lid on the room. It's the biggest, blankest canvas a designer gets to play with. It's responsible for that all-important first impression, that feeling of awe when you first walk in, and it creates the lasting impression of comfort when you're finally relaxing in your room. It literally shapes how you feel and what you hear in the space. So let's follow that journey, shall we? Starting right where every stay begins, the lobby. This is where a hotel has just seconds to make or break that first impression. These big, grand lobbies are designed to wow you, right? But they have an invisible enemy: noise. We've all been there, a beautiful space that's just way too loud. And a lot of times it's because of something called the Lombard Effect. Basically, as the background noise gets louder, people instinctively talk louder to be heard, which just makes the room even louder. It's this vicious feedback loop of noise. So how do you fight that? You can't just put up signs asking people to be quiet. The answer, the number one defense against all that noise, is the ceiling itself. And this is such a brilliant example of how they do it. This is the Park Hyatt River Thames. Now you're looking at what seems to be a super clean, seamless plaster ceiling, but it's actually a high-tech acoustic system in disguise. It gives you that beautiful, pure look, but it's also got Class A sound absorption built right in. So it looks amazing while it's quietly soaking up all that extra noise. Now, another way to go is to make the ceiling the absolute star of the show. I mean, look at this. Here, the ceiling isn't just a surface, it's a massive sculpture. It's the main character of the room, drawing your eye up and defining the entire atmosphere. It's art and architecture all rolled into one. Okay, so the lobby was impressive. Now it's time to head to the room. And that walk down the corridor, you might think it's boring, but it's actually a super important part of the whole design story. We're all used to those endless, boring white hallways, but check this out. Designers are using this chromatic ceiling idea, using color, texture, and materials to do so much more. This dark, moody ceiling doesn't just look cool. It helps guide you, and it sets a more dramatic, intimate tone, getting you ready for the private escape of your room. And this really gets to the heart of the difference. Poor design just sees a hallway as a way to get from A to B. It's an afterthought. But thoughtful design? That turns the hallway into a deliberate transition. It's an experience. It helps you find your way without even thinking about it, and it builds anticipation for what's next. And that journey leads us right here to the guest room. This is your personal space, your little sanctuary, and in here, comfort is absolutely everything. So to create a room that feels just right, designers use what they call the principle of layering. Think of it like a four-part harmony of light. You've got your ambient light, which sets the overall mood. Then you have task lighting for specific things like reading or working. You add in accent lighting to highlight cool things like art. And finally, you have decorative lights that are like jewelry for the room. And you can really see how it works here. In the bedroom, all those layers give you options. You can make it bright like an office, or dim and cozy for relaxing. But in the bathroom, the game changes. It's all about precision. You need that clear, perfect light around the mirror, but you also want softer light elsewhere to get that relaxing spa-like feeling. But it's not just about what you see. Underneath that beautiful surface, there's some serious engineering going on. Materials like stone wool are working overtime. They provide incredible sound absorption so you don't hear your neighbors. They're designed to reflect light to save energy, and they're non-combustible to keep you safe. It's all this performance perfectly hidden. So you have to wonder, how on earth do they coordinate all of this? The lights, the sprinklers, the air vents, the speakers, the acoustics, well, they have a secret map. It's called a reflected ceiling plan, or RCP. And it sounds kind of confusing, but this analogy makes it so simple. An RCP isn't a drawing of you looking up at the ceiling. Instead, and this is genius, imagine you put a giant mirror on the floor. The RCP is a drawing of that reflection. This little trick ensures that the layout of the ceiling perfectly aligns with the floor plan of the room below it. And creating this map is a super methodical 5-step dance. First, you have to establish the boundaries, the walls. Then you lay down a precise grid. Third, you place all your lights and fixtures onto that grid. Step 4 is the really tricky part, coordinating with all the other systems, the HVAC, the sprinklers, you name it. And finally, you figure out the wiring and the switches that control the whole thing. And this is what you get. This is the final blueprint. It looks complicated because it is, but this is the one single map that coordinates every single element, the structure, the look, the function, to bring that whole invisible design to life perfectly. And that really brings us right back to the main point, doesn't it? It's all about that lasting impression. Just like the quote says, it's the right lighting and design that makes a space feel right, work right, and stick with you. All these hidden details, planned with incredible care, are what create an experience you actually remember. So now you know the secret. You know how hotels are quietly shaping your entire experience from above. The only question is, the next time you travel, the next time you walk into a beautiful new space, are you going to remember to look up